everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is going through some of the latest blind items and playing a fun game of Believe It or Not. As we know, blind items are rumors, there's allegations, there's sort of teasers. They'll give you context clues about who they're talking about, and then we can figure out, who's this in reference to, what pop culture person or celebrity or reality star. And blind items are not the truth. They're allegations, there's rumors, there's leaked tea. So I want to play a fun game of Believe It or Not, and we'll go through some of the top blind items. But before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a Kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. With that, you guys, let's dive right on in. So this is the first blind item, and these blind items are coming from Bravo and Cocktails. So this one says, I have it on good authority that knows a close source to the fan favorite on the cast. They informed me that the stresses of the job were getting to her and she strongly considered leaving. The extended break is production's way of easing the tensions for the cast. So this is allegedly about Garcelle Bouvet for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. As we know, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills went on a hiatus. They took a pause. So normally they would have already started filming by now, but as we know, filming has been pushed back to the end of January 2023, and they're saying, it's for mental health reasons. It's been a really stressful season. It's been really dark. Everybody needs a break. Everybody needs to be put on pause. Also, they're figuring out casting, who to bring in, who to bring back, all of that situation, what's going on with production, X, Y, and Z. Now, and put it down in the comment section if you believe this. Do you think that Garcelle really was considering leaving and a part of them taking a break was to ease the tensions for the cast? I personally don't believe this. I don't think that Garcelle ever was considering leaving the show. Do I think she wanted a break? Yes, but I don't think that she was strongly considered leaving the show because she even said, if I leave, that's what they wanted. Then I would give in. That's what they wanted because they went after me. They went after my child. They went after my friendships. They went after my career, trying to break up her and Sutton, going after her son Jax online, throwing her book in the trash, and then posting on Instagram because they wanted me off the show. So I'm not going anywhere because that would be giving them what they wanted, right? So I personally think that some of this is true, some of it's not true. I don't think she ever considered leaving, but I do think that the cast and crew, and even us a little bit, did need that mental health break. Okay. Let's move into the next blind item. So this one is Married to Medicine, and it says, spill it to Bravo and Cocktails.com. You didn't hear this from me, but Contessa and Quad aren't being renewed for the next season, and Anila will be a friend. Now, I personally do believe this, but again, you guys are playing a fun game of Believe It or Not. So put it down in the chat box, put it down in the comment box. Do you believe this blind item? Do you think that Contessa and Quad are out and Anila will be demoted to a friend? I mean, I believe it because I think that that would be a good call. I personally didn't know why Quad was on the show again. Like, she's not married to Medicine. She's not even married. Like, I don't get it. She's not a part of the show in that authentic way anymore. She came on, she was windmilling for Heavenly, even though Heavenly was just like, girl, close your legs to married men. You slept with a married contractor. That's how you got this house, X, Y, and Z. And she still didn't give it to Heavenly. She just kept going after Toya. And as we've seen on these shows, when they pick on one person too much, which I do think the ladies were picking on Toya too much. Thankfully, she had Simone by her side, and she also did have Contessa, but it got to be too much with Quad and lets her face Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie. It was just too much. Like, leave Toya alone, let her live. I actually think Anila could go. She doesn't need to be a friend of. I don't think Anila really needs to be on the show. I'm not sure why she's there. I'm not sure what value she adds. It's nothing personal, but I'm not invested. Even with her alleged two break-ins, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. So I think Anila could go, and I wouldn't mind if they demoted to Contessa to a friend of, because I do think Contessa has different dynamics and drama with the ladies. I also agree that Contessa is a little flat. You know, she's not that girl in any sense. So I would rather have Contessa be a friend of, Anila gone, and Quad can go. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you believe it or not? All right, you guys. Next up, our next blind item is from a source, and obviously this is from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It says, and as far as Rinna, it is not official that she is out. Rinna is still in the running. This I believe, but I want to know what you guys think. Put it down. Do you believe it or not? Do you think, nope, she's 100% fired? Do you think, nope, she's 100% coming back? They're not letting the villain, the pot stirrer, go? Or do you think, I believe the blind item, she's not out yet, they're still weighing the options? Now, I believe the blind item. I think she still is in the running. I think they're trying to use this pause as a way to sort of simmer everything down. And also, I think they're using the pause to see if they can find and cast someone who could replace that Rinna role, that role of pot stirrer, that role of drama, that role of the villain, but not as dark and all the way down to hell as Rinna goes. I think if they're able to get their stuff together, and they can find either an old G to come back or a new person to come in to replace that role, then I think they'll let Lisa Rinna go. But if they can't get their stuff together and find that right person, then I do think that they'll bring her back. I don't think that they have 100% decided either way yet. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Okay. Our next blind item. So from a source, I don't know if you guys watched the new revitalized The Real Housewives of Miami. So this is a couple from The Real Housewives of Miami. This is Elisa and Lenny. So just a quick background in case you guys don't know them. Lisa's a housewife. Lenny is this big like boob plastic surgeon in Miami. He's called the boob god. You know, they have all this money. They have these kids. They've had a very tumultuous relationship. She was getting a lot of pressure to have children for him. Her body wasn't really working in that way. I believe she ultimately did getting pregnant and carrying her two pregnancies. I'm not sure, but then maybe there was like the IVF journey and all of that stuff. But then there was also cheating allegations that they had separated and he was like cheating and all this, that, and the third. But now they are officially divorcing, officially separating. He wanted to kick her out of their mansion. I mean, this is like a big, huge mansion, crazy, all this stuff. Millions and millions of dollars, all of this opulence. He wanted to kick her out of the family home. And she was like, absolutely not. I'm not getting out of the family home. Allegedly, the reason why he wanted to kick her out so quickly was because he wanted to move in his mistress. And they have this big Halloween party every year. So he wanted to have his mistress move in, host a big Halloween party with the new chick, and kick her out. You know, very cliche, very disgusting, the usual. But now the blind item is saying Lisa and Lenny are not back together. They will not be reconciling. And they were both at the party, this big Halloween party, because she lives there, but legally it is his house too. He wanted to have the party and she attended. So I'm guessing they're pulling a Ashley Darby, Michael Darby, where they are cohabitating in the same home while going through the separation. I don't know how that's legal. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know, but I always thought that if you actually wanted a legal separation, one of the spouses had to move out, so you're not both cohabitating in the marital home if you have the financial means. I thought the only stipulation was if you financially cannot afford it, obviously, then you make other concessions. But I don't get how these millionaires are cohabitating in the same marital home talking about we're separated. Sounds more like you're just fighting. I don't know, but that's me. But put it down below with what you guys think about this blind item. Now, next up, from a source, Carrie Duber from Dallas. So if you guys watch The Real Housewives of Dallas, which has been put on pause for a while, Carrie Duber was, she's also, I want to say, she's also a doctor in some sense. I forget exactly what she does, but she's also married to a very prominent plastic surgeon. They have a ton of money. Her love story is also kind of shady. She worked for him and she would also babysit the kids while he was married to the first wife. Okay, so she was in that man's house with the man's kids while he was married, and then all of a sudden he divorces the wife and marries her. Just putting it out there. But word on the street is that she has been in Atlanta with Toya Bush Harris. So, maybe she'll be on Married to Medicine. Maybe they're moving to Atlanta. Maybe they're doing that type of crossover. You know, we've seen them do it. We saw them do it with Taylor Taylor Armstrong. You know, she used to be on Beverly Hills. Now she's going to be on the OC. We've seen them do it with Phaedra. She was on Roa. Now she's going to be on Dubai. So we've seen this happen, you know. Again, Carrie is married to medicine and she's medicine. She's either like a nurse or an esthetician or a Botox person, something like that. But she's also married to a doctor. I think that this would actually be really cool. I personally really liked Carrie. Do I think the way she got her husband was shady as hell? Yes. Do I think they were having an affair? In my personal opinion, yes. But I did like her. I thought she was really funny. She could read people. She had the quips. She has a very aspirational life. And I also really like Toya. So I think it would be good for Toya to have a new ally. Also, I think this Carrie, C-A-R-E, would be a great replacement for Carrie Wells, who used to be on Married to Medicine, who came out and being like, oh, Toya was the one who put a hit out on Anila or sent information on the house, which I think was complete BS. So I think it would be good for Toya to have another ally on the show. So if this is the truth, I am 100% here for it. All right, you guys, and put it down in the comments. Do you believe it or not? Up next, we have some tea from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So this says season 3 will be wrapping soon. After episode 7, viewers can expect a mid-season trailer. Before a mid-season, there will be an event. Angie K squares off against Meredith. Meredith says that Angie's support for Lisa is dubious and questions how she would feel if somebody attacked her family like that. Angie is not afraid to go low and accuses Meredith of weaponizing her law degree. Dana confides in Whitney at this event and talks about people who have worked for Jen. She questions the nature of her spending money and why her behavior is the way it is, even though she's getting arrested. Jen comes for her. What is seen in the season trailer is only the start of the finale party. The rest of the party got very heated. Dana holds her own. Jen eats her up. It is scary to watch. Season finale will be episode 13. Likely, Jen's trial will be the last 2 episodes, making it to 15 episodes, along with a 2 to 3 part reunion. Production wants Jen for the reunion, so expect it to be filmed in January. For season 4 production, thinking about Angie Harrington, Dana does not want to be on for season 4, and Angie K is happy to make her little cameos. All right, this is the thing, you guys. What are you guys actually thinking about Salt Lake City? It's kind of boring. It's a little flat. It's regurgitated storylines. So they need to bring it. Like the next couple of episodes needs to actually bring it, because I watch it and I do the recaps, but I'm kind of bored. I don't really care about Meredith going for Lisa. Like Meredith has several seats. We all know you're milking the hot mic moment. Lisa Barlow, I love Lisa Barlow, but okay. You know, Jen, again, with the delusion, you know, pleading guilty, the same storylines. How they're the same storylines. It's been really boring. It's been flat. So like, I honestly don't even care unless they pick it up. I need some real juice. I need some real tea. I need some real drama. Pick it up. And even this blind item, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you even care about this episode, this season of Salt Lake City? I personally don't. I think Whitney's story is bizarre and weird. The whole situation is just odd to me. So put it down what you think about this blind item. And if you even care about Salt Lake City, it is very flat to me. Okay, up next. So this blind item says, spill it to bravosandcocktails.com. Heather A, who you've seen with Tamara, and this is about the Real Housewives of OC. So Heather A, who you've seen with Tamara, will be on the show. Taylor A and Vicky G will be friends of Housewives, and the cast will be the same as season 16, with Tamara J and Heather A replacing Dr. Jennifer and Noella. 2 cast trips and finale party is this weekend, and Heather Dubrow has the most difficult season. Tamara also has a lot of fights, but things don't get as serious as they do for Heather Dubrow. Both Taylor and Vicky play very important roles in the season. Again, even with the OC, like, I kind of don't care. Like, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for the OC to come back? Are you looking forward to seeing Vicky back? Are you looking to see Tamara fight with everybody? What do you think about Heather Dubrow having a very hard season? As we know, there has been the resurfaced allegations of Terry Dubrow cheating allegations. Heather sold her for what? I mean, we all know that was supposed to be her forever home. However, she wants to spin it now is BS. She literally had her embryos in that house. So I think that was supposed to be her forever home, but yet they sold it. I know they sold it for 55 million. But do you think there's financial problems why they sold it? Do you think there's marital problems why they sold it? They're talking about their little, their new condo that they bought in Century City, but it's pretty more like a bachelor pad. It only has 2 rooms and they're a family of 6. So do you think it's really, Terry's bachelor pad or Heather's bachelor pad or whatever you want to call? I think that there's more going on behind the scenes with the Dubrows, and that's why they're saying Heather had such a tough season. Let's see what else. I just don't know how invested I'm going to be, but I'll have to wait and see what happens with the ladies, what they're fighting about and what's happening. I hope they bring it. I hope it's light and fun. I don't want any more darkness. I don't want any more going down to hell. Also with the finale party, I heard that it got really heated between Heather and Tamara, like very heated, like fighting. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you think that, Taylor and Vicky are playing these big roles in this season to like save the season from being sleepy? What do you think about Heather Dubrow and Terry's problems? Do you think it's financial? Do you think it's marital? Or do you think, no, they just, got a great offer and wanted to sell their house and move into a 2-bedroom condo? I don't know. Maybe they have other houses that they can move into in the meantime. Not 100% sure. What do you think about Tamara Judge coming back and mentioning it all and fighting with everybody? And what do you think about Gina and Emily? I honestly almost kind of forgot about them. I forgot about Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I'm not a Gina fan, and I'm not really an Emily fan. I like Emily more than Gina. Them together, it's grating. But what do you guys think? Put it down below. All right, you guys. So here is the next one with some Bravo tea. So this is allegedly a new show coming to Bravo called The Lads of London. At least that is the alleged working title. Now, we know that Bravo is trying to skew to a younger demographic. That's why we had the Real Girlfriends in Paris come out. They're trying to get that younger demo. So this says Bravo or Peacock will air a new show called Lads of London. Basically, Real House Kids of London. They filmed and stopped and then began filming. The cast are a fitness freak called Ollie, a West End performer called Jack, a finance director, Alfie, a socialite who works for Condé Nast named Ben, a car salesman called Will, and the nephew of former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. London society hates this happening. The cast have been kicked from many major events. Expect Juliet Angus and some other ladies of London to appear. They tried a similar show with one surrounding a group of friends in the Middle East. London won. Real Girlfriends in Paris was a trial run for the new younger demographic. The cast are a mix of Americans, English, Scottish, and Emirati. Wow. Dun, 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 dun. Now, did you guys watch Ladies of London? That's actually where Caroline Stanbury got her start in Bravo. So, as we all know, Caroline Stanbury is on The Real Housewives of Dubai, but she actually was the star of Ladies of London years ago, and she was supposed to be the anchor in The Real Housewives of Dubai. That's why you had all the beef with like Lisa and Chanel and all of them being like, oh, we're going to get together. So Caroline knows that like this is an ensemble show, this isn't her show. But the truth is, as quiet as it kept, that show actually was Caroline Stanbury's show. Now, the Caroline Stanbury that we got in The Real Housewives of Dubai is a very different Caroline Stanbury that we got in Ladies of London. Ladies of London, Caroline Stanbury was that girl. She gathered the girl, she ran the girls, she was the HBIC. Now, the Caroline Stanbury and the Real Housewives of Dubai, I personally think, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose. I think she's depressed. I think she's sad. I don't think she's happy with Sergio. I think she never properly grieved her divorce. I don't think she ever properly grieved the loss of that life. In the Ladies of London, she was married, she was rolling in the money, she was that girl, she was sought after, she was London society, okay? But the girl in Dubai with this whole Sergio situation, with the not looking happy situation, with the being an influencer situation, it's a very different girl. But if you watch Ladies of London, Caroline Stanbury was that girl. Okay, and Juliet Angus also, she made an appearance on Real Housewives of Dubai. She was the one at the engagement party talking to Sergio and Caroline being like, are you sure she should get pregnant again? She's a woman of a particular age. She got very sick with the twins. She could have died, X, Y, and Z. But what do you think about this show? You know, Lads of London, you know, do we need a show about rich kids in London running around, socialite, privileged kids? Is that what we need? Also, I need to know the age of the kids. Are we talking teenagers? Are we talking, you know, the rich kids of Beverly Hills, teens? Are we talking young as in their 20s? You know, I want to know the actual age demographic. You know, is it that or is it their 20s? I'm guessing they're in their 20s, given the situation, and also giving the Real Girlfriends in Paris. They were pretty much 22 to 32, that sort of range. Do you think it'll work? Do you think Bravo is reaching with all of this? Let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments below. Now, this one is another one from The Real Housewives of OC. It says, what happened was Kelly and Rick were at a mutual friend's box at a football game with Shannon and John. So apparently there's a huge fight that goes down between Shannon and Tamara. Now remember, Shannon and Tamara were getting back to being friends. You know, Tamara felt a certain type of way when she got fired and Bravo kept Shannon, and Shannon pretty much, you know, ghosted Tamara, which I actually am team Shannon with that, because don't forget, Tamara was talking mad junk about Shannon behind her back. Shannon calls me at all hours of the night. Shannon's miserable. Shannon just complains about herself. Shannon only talks about herself. But in Shannon's face was a very different story. Oh, Shannon, I'm your friend. Dos amigas, blah, 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 blah. This is the thing, Tamara. If you were so bothered by Shannon, why didn't you talk to Shannon about it? Shannon doesn't know that her coming to you as a friend and venting to you, you're taking it some type of way, or her calling you all the time, you're taking it some type of way. If you don't communicate that to your friend, how are they supposed to know you're bothered by it? But then going behind her back and talking about her like a dog to everybody is not being a friend. You go to your friend and you say, you know what, maybe we need to talk about some boundaries. You know, I'm happy to talk, but, you know, don't call me after midnight. Don't call me after 10, or unless it's an emergency. Or, you know what, you tend to talk a lot about what's going on with you. I'm your friend and I love you and I'm here for you, but I would like it if you would check in on me sometimes. You know, I'd like it if you talk about me sometimes. Because the majority of the time, people don't mean to be that way. We just all are self-absorbed by nature. We think about our own drama. We think about our own stuff. And we're just like, oh, girl, what happened in my life? Blah, 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 blah. You're not trying to be self-absorbed. That's just how we are as people. But you have good friends who say, girl, I get it. You're going through it, but me too. Let's talk, let's talk it through. Tamara never did that. She talked about Shannon like a dog behind her back. And then when Shannon did have good boundaries, when Tamara and Eddie went for their like sex vacation because they were having problems, and Shannon didn't contact her. Tamara talked to her dog about that. Shannon calls me all the time. I don't hear from you at all while I'm, on vacation. And Shannon was like, you told me you were going to have sex with your husband on your sex vacation, so I was giving you space. Like, what do you want, Tamara? I call you during normal hours, you get pissed. I don't call you when you're on a sex vacation with your husband and you get pissed. Like, which is it? So they were beefing. And then this season was about, could Tamara and Shannon come back together? So that was one of the beefs. So now let's get into it. So then it says, okay, and John is Shannon's boyfriend. Okay. John told Rick, and Rick is Kelly Dodd's husband. Okay. Some negative stuff about Eddie, and Eddie is Tamara's husband. Okay. Rick repeated the story on their podcast. Tamara and Shannon were still friends with Kelly and Heard, and texted Kelly pissed off that they said it on the podcast. Shannon told Kelly that their conversations are to be kept private. Rick apologized via text to Shannon and on their podcast. Kelly read the text from Shannon and Tamara on her podcast. Kelly, that's shady as hell. Shannon contacted Jeff Lewis, knowing Kelly and Rick were going on his podcast. Jeff called Kelly and told her about Shannon's call. Kelly recorded the call with Jeff and played it on her podcast. Tamara is pissed, and that is why she had negative comments about Kelly at BravoCon. Listen, Tamara Judge is a hot mess to me. She's a hot mess. To me, Tamara is a pot stirrer. She is also, she carries the bone. She's also very two-faced. She says one thing in your face and another thing behind your back. Tamara's nobody's friend but her own. Tamara to me is very, very, very messy. Very, very, very messy. I also think Kelly and Rick were very messy to spill the beans on their podcast. This is the thing, and this is where the lines get blurred. It's like Wendy Williams always said. She's like, I'm either going to be able to do my job or I'm going to be able to be friends with people. So if these ex-housewives, the Tamara or the Tamaras before she got her orange back on Two Teas with a Pod, Teddy Mellencamp, even Dr. Heavenly, she gets the blowback on it. Karen Huger now is doing it on her YouTube channel. Monique did it, right, on her YouTube channel and stuff. And now Kelly's doing it. If you're going to be a content creator, if you're going to be a podcaster, if you're going to be, what's her face? Bethany Frankel is now coming out with the Real Housewives podcast, right? They're all doing it. But the problem is, if you're now going to be a podcaster, but let's call a thing. Right now, if you're going to be a YouTuber, because they're all putting it on YouTube, right? So if Bethany Frankel is now going to be a YouTuber, Monique Samuel's a YouTuber, Dr. Heavenly's a YouTuber, Karen Huger is a YouTuber, Kelly and Rick are YouTubers. Like, let's just call a thing. If you're going to be a content creator slash YouTuber, the lines get blurred when you have these relationships with people. When you are friends with Tamara and Shannon, and then you want to go and spill the conversations that they had with you, thinking it's in confidence because you think you're talking to their friend, and then you use it for content on your blog, on your YouTube channel, on your podcast, that's going to blur the lines. That's going to get you in trouble. Look at what Dr. Heavenly is going through on Married to Medicine because she's a hot mess. Sure, Contessa talked about Scott and her relationship or whatever, but it's one thing for her to do it. It's another thing for you to use it as content for clicks and views. So that line is very blurry. And I think that there's two sides of it. Kelly and Rick are kind of like, hey, listen, I got this YouTube channel that I'm trying to grow. Like, I'm trying to get subscribers on my YouTube channel. You gave me some hot tea. I'm just doing my job. But on the other hand, Shannon and Tamara are like, wait, listen, you're our friend. We were just hanging out and we're talking to you about what's going on in our lives. And now you're spilling it on your YouTube channel. What the F? So I get both sides of it. That's why I think it's really hard to ethically and morally do this unless you just say, I'm not going to spill certain tea about different things, but I don't know. But I also think it's really funny how all of these housewives, people who, from Bethany to Karen Huger are now becoming YouTubers and content creators. I think that's just really funny, but there's enough space for all of us. So everybody come, the space is wide open. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And last but not least, this was from Bravo and Cocktails also, but I was shocked that nobody was talking about this tea. So this is about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So this was a blind item that says Bravo has signed a new housewife to replace Diana. She's an actress who starred in Fresh Prince, NCIS LA, and has visited Big Mama's house on multiple occasions. Garcelle and her have been photographed together conveniently. Kyle, Erica, Sutton, Garcelle, Dorit, and Crystal are all 100% coming back. Brenna's fate is unclear. A famous friend of Sutton's may be appearing as a guest slash friend. We all think that's Jennifer Tilly, right? From the Chucky series. Kathy will be back despite her demands, and everybody thought they must be talking about Nia Long. So again, as we know, blind items are alleged, they're rumors, they're tea. Blind items can also be planted. So that's why we're playing the believe it or not, because it's all alleged until proven true or not. Now, I personally don't believe this one. I don't think Nia Long is coming to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. As we know, Nia Long was just in the news for some not so good stuff. You know, her fiance was I'll say alleged cheating, even though it's all come out and everything. He was cheating on her. There was some situation. He's one of the head basketball coaches for the Celtics, I believe, an NBA coach. They had just relocated to Boston, and then the whole cheating allegations came out. He was put on suspension from the Celtics. He may be back by now. Then all this really weird, dark, I'm not even going to repeat those rumors because they were so dark that allegedly came out about him and the women at the NBA that he worked with. It got really dark. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not true. It was some really scary stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. But I just think that this isn't true. I don't see Nia Long doing reality TV, and I don't see her joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But I thought it was interesting, and I also was like, A, how did I miss this? Like, how was I not reporting on this? And B, nobody else picked this up. So this is some fresh, hot tea. Again, it's just fun to speculate and to talk about it. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Nia Long is actually coming to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Or is this a reach? Is this a stretch? Is it just because she was in the news because her fiance was cheating on her and that whole scandal? And so they put it back in. Put it down below. So I'm going to quickly go over each blind item super quickly for the people who just joined. Wait, actually, I'm going to do my quick outro first for the people watching on the replay, and then I'll go through them quickly, and then we can talk about it in the chat. So as always, you guys, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down in the comment section below. Believe it or not, which one of your blind items were your favorites? What rumors do you believe, and which rumors do you not believe? But as